You may not feel that it's possible for you to tell anybody anything that you've been through. But if you hold it, you may end up being just like the worker at Panda Express, spitting in people's food. And I'm going to tell you, now I like Panda now, but I was about this close from going to Panda. Then when I found out, my wife, she read that story. She said, oh my God, it's the Panda you're about to go to. Hey, what's going on, family? It's Michael B from createtobemore.com. So I'm out and about right now. As you can see, my background. I just came to Walmart to pick up a few things for the wife. I didn't want her really going to Walmart, so I just decided to drive up here to keep her safe from, what's going on right now. And on my way driving here, all I could do was just think about something that she was sharing with me a couple of days ago. I came home one evening. She was on her phone, and while she was on her phone, she just blurted out like, oh my God, wow. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? She began to share this story off of Facebook from a lady's daughter. And the lady's daughter was talking about her mom, and she was just saying that her mom was very sick. Her mom was very pale. She was weak and fatigued. And she was very heated about why her mom was sick. And I'm about to tell you why her mom was sick. Her mom went to the hospital to get some test results done. She wanted to make sure that it wasn't COVID and make sure that it wasn't, I think she wanted to make sure it wasn't pneumonia. I think she ended up getting pneumonia from this. But when she finally did find out what she had, she immediately called her daughter and told her daughter. What she found out she had was hepatitis. Someone at a Panda Express was bitter, I guess, and I guess they were going through some things. They decided to spit in customers' food, and this caused multiple people to end up getting tested for hepatitis. But luckily they found out which restaurant it was, and I think they're working on trying to find that employee. And when I heard the story, I immediately had feelings of just grief for the mom, because I mean, you want to go to a restaurant and get food. Nobody should have to pay their money to go to a restaurant and eat, and they end up being sick from the food. And it's not food poisoning, and you're wondering what's going on because the COVID is going around, so you think it's that, and you find out that it's not that. And then you find out that it's hepatitis C. And knowing me, I'm a person that's very analytical, meaning I put things together in retrospect to see, why would this person possibly do something like that? And you can immediately, when you hear stories of people spitting in people's food and just doing things like that, it makes you think about how people are so bitter and how they'll try to get revenge because of things that they have never healed from. And so in this video, I want to talk about how to heal from a toxic relationship. And I didn't make this video to give you a sense of anxiety or to make you scared to go eat at restaurants, because I know how the spirit of fear works. And I'm not condoning the spirit of fear to even try to attempt itself at making any of you fearful. But I really want to tap into why this possibly could have happened. And this is not the only time something like this has happened before. You've heard several things concerning relationships and the person going out and infecting tens of hundreds of people because they're trying to get out what was done to them. So the victim has now become the victomizer. And 9 times out of 10, everybody you meet on a daily basis has a story. But I think one thing that happens in relationships a lot of time, and relationships are not limited to just someone who you can be intimate with. I consider a relationship a person you may be in close communication with a lot of times, because when you say the word relationship, the person automatically sees the person that they're talking to in their head. And that's not the only thing that relationships implies. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to stay within the parameters of talking about relationships between the opposite sex, someone you consider yourself intimate with. We don't think about how a person's past may have looked. And I know many of you watching right now, you have been in a relationship with a person and you don't know everything about them. And some of you possibly do know everything about them. At least you probably think you do. And so when you get with someone and you get into a relationship with them, they don't really express everything that they've been through, because some things they might not want to share with you out of fear that you may not want to talk to them, out of fear that you may not want to deal with them. And sometimes they don't tell you things because they're not comfortable enough telling you what they have been through, the trauma that they've been through, the mental abuse, the physical abuse they went through when they were a child, and some of the relationships they've been in before. And some people, they're just open. They're just wide open like the highway. And they'll go ahead and tell you everything right away. You know, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants someone who cares for them, who shows them affection. We were created to be loved. That's how we were created. We were created to be loved and to give love. So the natural feeling that you have when you've talked to someone for a while is, okay, you start to feel this connection to this person. And sometimes it can be lust, and I'll talk about that in another video. But for the most part, we develop these feelings for a person, and we want to be in a relationship. And if they give the relationship to you, now you're in a relationship with them. But one thing that you didn't think about is all the things that you went through before you got with them. Because take note, once again, like I said, we all want to be loved. So rather than you learning how to love yourself first, you try to go and find someone to give you the love that you've never had. And you could have came up in a home where your mom and dad affirmed you, or whoever you stayed with, they affirmed you. And some of you came up in homes where no one affirmed you. No one ever told you, hey, you look nice today, or you have on some nice clothes, you smell nice. You didn't come up in that. So finally, when you meet someone who compliments you or gives you just some type of attention, now you're giving yourself all the way to them. You're giving yourself all to them, but you don't understand, once again, that they have a story. They may not have ever learned how to take things slow. They may not be able to tell you, I need time right now. Because 9 times out of 10, when you see what you like, you want to go after it. You're not thinking about all the possibilities that this person may have something. This person may be a psychopath. You may not be thinking about any of those things, but you get into a relationship with this person expecting something that they may not be able to even give you fully. And so we get into the relationship, and then we find out that this person is very condescending, they're very arrogant, they're very stuck up, they're very one-sided, they're very self-conceited. All they want to do is think about them. You're not thinking that they have a story too. And what you should have did before you got into the relationship was take your time to heal within yourself. But now you've been with the person for so long, and you've had all these different events and different things that have happened. Now you've gotten your heart broken over and over. You've gotten your heart broken several times in different relationships because you did not allow yourself to learn who you are, to love yourself first. Now the damage is done. You can't go back. You can't go back and do anything about it because the damage is done now. But I know the question that you may be asking is, how can I really heal from these relationships? And sometimes it may take counseling. It may take you to get on mymentor.life to find you a life coach. It may take you some fasting, some praying. It may take you to do those things in order to heal from the relationships that have caused you so much trauma and so much pain that you can't even recognize who you are anymore. And some people spend years and years and years of their time with a person who has never fully healed. So now you are the person that's unhealed, and that's going to cause more damage than good to you. And all you wanted out of the deal was just to be loved. You wanted to be loved because you weren't affirmed when you were younger. You had no one to tell you that you were beautiful. You had no one to tell you that you were smart. You didn't have anyone to tell you that you were handsome, that you can do anything you put your mind to. So now you're looking for it in all these different relationships. And I can speak for me. I dealt with so many relationships for years and for years. I dealt with relationships. And the people that wanted relationships with me, I didn't want relationships with them. And it wasn't because I didn't think that I could be in one with them. I didn't want one because, first of all, none of them were my wife. That's another video. But for the most part, I could not be with them because I was broken. And so what I'm trying to get at here is I was the one who was victimized. I was the one who was victimized. I was the one causing the pain because I never learned who I was. We have this thing about why me? Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? I'm going to tell you right now. Your story is your story for a reason. Everybody has a story. But see, your story is intended for good because there's going to be someone before you who's going through what you're going through. And there's someone who's going to be after you who is going through what you've been through. So you have to allow your story to begin to work for you. Allow your pain to be your message. Allow your pain to begin to birth your purpose. We don't slow down to think about how can this thing that I've been through in this relationship, how can it work for me? Because the Bible says we become so others can become. So I believe that when we go through things, it's not just to go through them, but we go through them so we can help somebody else out. And I find that a lot of us, we go with emotion. This is just how I am. This is just how I am. This is just what I've gone through. This is how I am. This is how I'm going to be. And so we accept the lie that we live with. And once we accept that lie, we just carry it with us just like some luggage. And we take it literally everywhere we go. We take it into another relationship. We take it into another relationship and another relationship. You'll never be able to fully find your husband or your wife if you are consistently just going with the motion, not stopping. And if you do find your husband or your wife, you'll run them off because you have not healed from the toxic relationships that you have been in. You're going to have to take time and really be truthful. Find you a counselor, find you a mentor, like I said earlier, to talk to get these things off of your chest. Be vulnerable. It's okay to have went through some of the things that you have went through. And I know somebody that is listening to this right now, you may not feel that it's possible for you to tell anybody anything that you've been through. But if you hold it, you may end up being just like the worker at Panda Express, spitting in people's food. And I'm going to tell you, now I like Panda now, but I was about this close from going to Panda. Then when I found out, my wife, she read that story. She said, oh my God, it's the Panda you were about to go to. Because I had came from running from a store and I was about to go to that Panda to pick up something to eat and just take on to the house. But then, I said, babe, you want to eat some fish instead? And so I just decided just to go and get some fish. And she was like, well, I want a Panda. And I was just about to drive off to go to Panda. And then she said, no, don't worry about it. Now you're already there. So I just stayed where I was to get some fish. And I'm like, man, you don't want to be like the same person who spit in someone's food at Panda. Now, that person, just be praying for them. They need a lot of prayer. They need some jail time too. But for the most part, you don't want to be like that. And if you've been in a toxic relationship, it will cause you to be bitter. You begin to be numb. Everything that you once cared about when it comes to relationship, you won't care about it anymore. So your purpose now is, if you're a male, I've seen this happen because I used to be this male. So my purpose now of being in a relationship is to do one thing. Just one thing. That's all I want to do. I ain't talking about doing nothing else. Look, I ain't trying to, but see, you won't know that. So you don't want to be in a relationship, but you're not man or woman enough to tell the other person that I don't want to be in a relationship right now. I'm kind of cool. And some people, they will just be straight up like, hey, I don't want a relationship right now. I need time to heal. But if you really want to be loved, you're not thinking about trying to tell somebody, look, I've been through this, I've been through that, and I don't think I'm a good fit for you right now. I don't think I need to go any further with you. You want to be loved. And a lot of times we think love is monetary gifts. We think love is, that we think love relates to those things. And we put ourselves in predicaments that cause the damage to be worsened, and we live with it. And we just go with it, hoping that one day something will change. And so I'm going to tell you a few things that you need to do to effectively heal. And one of the first things you need to do is, if you have the strength and the courage enough to break it off with the person who you are in a relationship with, you need to call it off. Because there's no way that you should be in a relationship, and I'm not gonna lie to you, you shouldn't be in a relationship longer than, I say, a year without knowing that that's the one for you. You may be tying up somebody else's wife or somebody else's husband. If you've been with that person over a year and y'all still have not made it official, you need to go ahead and move forward with your life. You need to cut all ties with them, phone number, everything possible, if the relationship is adding more toxic buildup to what you already have. You might want to have something and make it work with that person. But I would say that both of you need to get some type of counseling to be able to help you overcome what you've been through in your past. Because you cannot be effective in your present if you have not overcame your past. I'm gonna say it once again. You cannot be effective in your present if you have not overcame your past. What you can end up doing is wasting more time that you cannot afford to give someone else, because you still have to learn about yourself. Take your mind off of every other past relationship that was toxic. I want you to learn from them now so that you won't continue to keep going in the same direction of toxic relationship after toxic relationship. The second thing you need to do, you need to talk to someone who has enough wisdom and knowledge to help you see all of the things that you cannot see within yourself. You need someone who you can vent to, someone who you can talk to, because the Bible says there is safety in the multitude of counselors. So you need to talk to someone who can counsel you and help you heal, because if you don't heal, you'll keep getting with the same kind of person over and over and over. And what happens is, see, you're attracted automatically to this type of person. You have your specifications of a male or a female that you are attracted to. And that same kind, you've already found out in the past that that kind is not good for you. If you're attracted to that type and you've seen over and over and over that that type has caused you pain, you might need to go a different route. And instead of using the specifics that you want, you may need to get to know the person more, ask more questions, and do those things. So you need to talk to someone about what you've been through. You can go to mymentor.life, book you a coaching session, and use that as one of the tools as an investment in yourself to begin to learn more about you so you can begin to grow as a person. You can get over some of the childhood hurt, some of the past relationships, and anything else you can think about. And the third thing that I want to put out here that I think is so important is ask more questions. You cannot allow yourself to think off of a sexual chemistry. You can't allow your feelings and emotions to lead you, because that's what probably got you in the place that you're in already. And I can be honest with you, I'm here with you. I did the same thing. You can allow how you feel to lead you into a place that you've already been. You're trying to come out of this toxic place in these relationships, but you're still going back into these relationships because you're allowing your feelings and you're allowing lust and you're allowing what you see and what you like to lead you to that person. So you're not worried about asking questions. You just want to go ahead and, see what they're talking about. And women want a relationship majority of the time. It's the men who really haven't healed, and men don't really heal. Men give all a different kind of persona. They'll do the tough macho guy type thing, and they'll be, acting all tough and acting brawny and stuff like that, but they have went through more stuff than they're willing to admit. And so the female, she may want a relationship. She may come in, ask all the necessary questions. Hey, well, what kind of food do you like? What kind of color do you like? And, do you like to go to the park? Do you like to go to the movies? And he may be like, yeah, I'm with all that. I'm with all of it. Straight up. I'm good. And he's saying that because he's not really in tune with who he is. He's not in tune with himself yet enough to know things that he likes. So if you're saying any of those things, he'll agree with it. He already see what he want. Automatically, he already tell his homeboy, you're right. He already knows what he wants to do. So for the women, you have to ask the serious questions. You have to begin to ask the questions to see where this man's mind is at, because you've already been through enough. Your dad probably was in the home, but he probably didn't affirm you. He probably didn't affirm you and tell you the things that you needed to hear as a daughter. He probably didn't tell you those things. And sometimes a dad can do those things, but just still not spend enough time with their daughter. So that still leaves a void. And so they get with this guy, and really what they're truly looking for is a father figure. And they end up making this man somewhat of a male figure in their life to give them that love and that compassion. But he ain't worried about that. He trying to do something else. And sometimes, you have a very few select men who may not be trying to do that. So all men are not trying to do that. But for the most part, a large majority of them are. And most men who haven't healed, they need to really heal and allow themselves to not hang around the same men who they're hanging around, because what guys talk about is completely different than what majority of women talk about. Men have a complete different language that they speak that women don't even understand at all and will never understand. But they need to understand to keep them from going through hurt and pain and things that you go through in these toxic relationships. And for the men, you also want to make sure you ask the necessary questions, because you got some women out here, they just like men. I'm telling you, they got the same type of game. So you want to make sure that you are also asking the necessary questions to see where their heart is, to see where their mind is, because a lot of women are attracted to this tough macho guy, this guy who's just so oh, he's just so rough and he's just so tough. But the same one who you actually see who's rough and tough, ladies, is because he is also trying to cope through the things that he's went through. So a lot of guys will put on that persona. Like I said earlier in the video, he'll try to put on this persona because I was him. So that's how I'm able to say that. A lot of women will overlook the guy who is not the tough guy anymore, not knowing that he gave up that tough guy lifestyle. He just wants to be humble and laid back, and he wants to try to develop himself so he can be a husband. So fellas, you want to make sure that you also ask the necessary questions so that you don't get hurt as well. And after you've done those three things, you need to just sit back and also just analyze each relationship that you've been in, because most of these relationships you have caused yourself to have a soul tie with these people. And what do I mean by soul tie? Soul tie is an emotional and spiritual connection to all of these people. And I'm gonna have to make another video about soul ties and how you need to go about breaking them, and so you can be free from those. But if you know what a soul tie is, you already know how they can affect you. You have withdrawal symptoms. It can cause you to even sometimes go back to a toxic relationship that you've been freed from. It can cause you to still be just going through the emotions. Every time you think about what happened, it just makes you cringe. You don't want to deal with another relationship. You don't want to be with anybody else because you've been through so much pain, because you still have a soul tie with what that person has done to you. So you have to get free. And the step that I gave you about the mentorship is the one that will help you to start breaking those soul ties. Because the more you talk about it and the more you're able to get it out, the more you're able to say something about what happened to you and how these relationships cause you to have pain, how you cried every night, how you're just so angry and frustrated, then you can be free. You can breathe again. You can now see out of a lens that is clear. Because if you're looking through that broken lens, anything that presents itself to you, you might, oh, that's him right there. That's her right there. Oh, this him right here. That's her right there. And you study saying that somebody is the one, and once again, boom, you're going right back into another toxic relationship because you're looking out of a broken lens. But hey, that's all I have for this video. I may have to make another video that goes more into detail about how you need to break the soul ties, and it'll tie all up together. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm trying to make more videos. I have also right now, if you want to go to www.createdtobemore.com, I have an ebook that's coming that'll help you kind of refocus your mindset and help you to focus your energy elsewhere. You can go ahead and sign up to be on the email list, because I have a few books that I will be giving away for free. These books you will get for free because you're signed up to the email list. That's all I wanted to say in this video. I will be coming back on soon because I will be going over more relationships. We'll be talking about so many just different things, because right now we are in a place where so many people are hurting and they truly need to be healed. So that's all I got for now, fam. Remember that you were created to be more than average, but you were created to be dope. Peace.